Hey, what's up you guys? My name is Kyle. Maybe you've been playing for months, could be even years, and you keep seeing the same problems come up each time you pick up the guitar. There's 6 problems that I've identified that are common for so many players, and we're going to hit them all today in one go. Okay, those are slow chord changes, all right, buzzing strings when you play, clunky rhythms, dinky fingerpicking, chord boredom, and number 6, wasted practice time. Okay, we're going to hit all those today. By the end of this, you'll have cleaner chords, more powerful finger-picking technique, stronger rhythm, and a practice plan to help you move farther, to hit the stars, okay, possibly even Mars. All right, let's start with slow chord changes. Okay, now we're going to use the most common chords known to mankind, and that's the G chord and the D chord. You see, I'm playing my G chord like this. This is important for this example, but again, this is just a technique, okay? What I'm going to show you here applies to any chord changes. I'm going to show you some ways to speed these up today. All right, but we're going to start with the G, played like this. That would be here, ring on the B string and pinky here. Some people play it like this or like this, but we need to do it like this today. All right, put your fingers in that position. Grab your guitar. Put your fingers in this position. We are going to practice visualizing where we're going. Okay, that's thinking about the change before it happens. That's technique number 1. And the second is establishing an anchor finger. Okay, now the first technique, visualizing your destination, that's what I like to call it, that works on any chord change. The anchor finger doesn't work on any chord change, but it works on a lot. Let's talk about visualizing, okay? First, before we move, and this is going to sound mystical and magical, it's really not. It's pretty simple. It's just preparing before we do things. It's just not just practicing, just doing stuff, but it's actually thinking about what we're doing. So before we move from G to D, if you're new to this chord change, if you're already good at this chord change, just understand the technique I'm teaching, even if you already know G to D. But if this chord change is weak for you, then you'll learn a lot right here. Okay, when we go from G to D, we need to think about, okay, what are our fingers doing here? What's actually happening? All right, well, in this case, my pinky's coming off. Okay, maybe not in this order, but in this case, this is what's going to happen. Pinky's going to come off. The index finger is going to drop 2 strings, and the middle finger is going to shoot all the way down to the E string. Okay, so we want to think about that before we do it. We want to know what we're going to do, and trust me, this feels like a waste of time, but it's actually saving you a ton of practice time to imagine what your fingers need to do before you do it. So from G to D, we're going to think about those things and think about them all happening at once. This one moves down 2, that one moves all the way down, this one comes off, here we go. And now we're going to do it. Notice, anchor finger. The ring finger is not going to move. Do not take it off and then put it back. Do you see how much slower that will make you? If you're lifting fingers that don't need to be lifted, moving things that don't need to be moved is a great way to have nice, slow chord changes and to get really angry with yourself. So get happy with yourself. Leave this thing in place, even if you're not used to it. Here we go. We're going to make that shift, and we're going to think about doing it all at once. Ready, go. Boom. And we have it. Okay, notice I didn't even start with the right hand yet. I'm just thinking boom. Okay, now that we have the shift, let's try it with our picking hand. Ready? We'll strum the G, and then we'll make this shift, thinking about it and going as quick as we can. Think fast. Think about going fast. Use your brain. Here we go. Go. Okay, not too bad. Let's go back. Let's do the reverse. Now we're thinking about moving this one to here, moving this one up too, and putting the pinky back on. Ready? Visualize it. What's going to happen? Think about throwing this up there quick. On your mark, get set, go. Once we've established that change, and again, this will work with any chord change. All right, this will work from C to F. It will work from D to B minor. It will work from E minor to F sharp minor, right? It works with anything. Visualizing is very crucial. The anchor finger doesn't work with every change, but it works with a lot. For example, it works from F to D minor, right? It works from, let's say, E minor to E major, right? That's a simple one. A minor to C, right? Don't go like this, dun, 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 when you go to C. Just move the finger that needs to move. Save the time. Okay, so now that we've established the anchor finger, let's make this a little more pressurized because the pressure is going to help us move a lot faster. And let's use a metronome. Now, a metronome is huge for getting better at almost every guitar technique. You must be under pressure to get better. Pressure equals better, okay? If you are not under pressure and you're just doing it at your own leisure and you're like, okay, I'll do G and let's go to D fast as we can, go. Yes, doing that over and over will get you faster, but there's not enough pushing you, right? Your brain is going to go at its own pace unless something is whoosh, you know, like a horse rider cracking the whip, okay? That's going to really, where you're really going to see the changes. So we put the metronome on. I'm using this basic metronome app. You can use any metronome, but let's put it to something mid-tempo. Let's try 100, all right? So now we've got metronome going. Hopefully you can hear that. Okay, I'm going to leave it right there. And we're going to make that change, but we're only going to give us 2 clicks to do it. We just arbitrarily picked that, but here we go. We're going to do 2 clicks. Ready? 1, 2, 1. Now, if that's too fast, then try to do it in 2 clicks, but do it slower, right? Take it down to 70. Find a tempo that you like. Let's try 70. 2 clicks, but now it's a lot slower. 1. All right, if that's still too fast, well, maybe try to think, oh, let's do it in 4 clicks. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and back to G, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, back to D, 3, 4, 1. Right? We are just working on a couple chords at a time. We are just using the metronome to push us. When you can do it at a tempo that you've picked, try 70, 4 clicks. When you can do it in 4, try to do it in 3. When you can do it in 3 clicks, try to do it in 2. Or speed up the speed of the metronome and keep it at 4, right? If we could do 4 clicks at 70, let's try doing it at 80, right? 1, now it's a little faster, right? We have 4 clicks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, right? Now you can do this with more chords. Say it's a G, C, D, E minor progression. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. I'm imagining the metronome is going 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Right? When I can do that at 80, I bump to 85 or 90. You've got to apply pressure to yourself. Pressure is going to make all the difference. Now, I'm not in the room with you. I can't apply pressure to you while you're practicing, but the metronome can. Anyone can access a metronome. So put it on. If your chord changes are struggling and they're slow, put that metronome on. Start at 70. That's a good, nice, slow tempo. And choose how many clicks you want to try to. If it's too easy, cut down the clicks or raise the tempo. You've got 2 options. When you can do that, go a little faster. When you can do that, go a little faster. Pressure. I mean, if you try to go a little faster each day according to the metronome, I guarantee you will go faster. But having something that pushes you makes all the difference. Our number 2 problem is buzzing strings. This one is not so metronome focused. Again, you're going to get better just by playing over and over chords. Your buzzing strings will kind of resolve themselves over time, especially if you're thinking about fixing them. But let's just talk about some things you can fix today. Okay, when you've got a buzzing, say, C chord, and you've got, there's a buzz. Hopefully you can hear that. Trying to get a buzz. It's hard once you've been playing a long time to make it buzz. So what's wrong here? Well, that middle finger note, okay? I'm not pressing it hard enough. So tip number 1, press harder. If your fingers are tired, take a break and come back. But you've got to press hard or get your guitar checked out and get it fixed, okay? If the action's too high, it's gonna be really hard to get clean chords. So make sure your action is adjusted by a guitar tech who knows what they're doing. Make sure you have a decent instrument. Doesn't have to be $1 million guitar, but something that sounds and feels good, and a guitar tech will help you know that. But once you know your guitar's in decent shape, okay, press harder. Round the fingers, because sometimes a buzzing string, in this case the G string on my C chord, is buzzing because that middle finger's touching it. So you can't go flat on it, you've got to go round. And that brings to the 3rd point, which is thumb placement. You see that my thumb's over the top here? Okay, you can also bring it down. I have my thumb up high a lot on these basic chords because I like to mute the E string by touching it with just the skin of my thumb lightly touching it. okay? That way I can, without worrying about hearing that E string and trying to avoid it. Avoiding strings to me is not that much fun. I'd rather mute them with my left hand by touching the strings I don't want to hear. So in this case, my thumb's at top. But if you're struggling to get the roundness that you need on your chords, say your guitar has a bigger neck or you have smaller hands or you're just less experienced, you can bring your thumb down and watch what happens to my fingers. They have more room to round out. Okay, so when you bring your thumb down, it offers more rounding room. It might also offer you more strength. Like on a bar chord, you don't want your hand up here, right? You're not going to get enough pressure down here on the index finger and maybe even these notes. But when you bring your thumb down and put it, see this behind the neck there in the center of that bar chord, almost like a capo, right? It's like these two fingers are making a capo kind of. Now you've got enough room to really bar the notes. If you bring it in here, the higher you raise your thumb, the more your palm has to compensate by coming up with it. Okay, when you pull your thumb down, your palm can come down. Does that make sense? I'll show that again. That when you pull up, your palm raises up. When your thumb comes down, your palm drops down. So you have more rounding room. If you go too far, you're not going to have any strength to make the chord. Okay, you see my elbow starts to come in like that. So you don't really want that. You want to find that sweet spot where your elbow's in the center, even with a G chord. You see I'm up top because I'm just used to that. But you could come down if you need more roundness down here. You find that spot that works for you, and when you're playing little riffs and stuff, my thumb's up high here, but sometimes when I come down, it might make more sense to bring my thumb down to get more roundness. Again, I keep my thumb up high because I end up muting things a lot or playing, playing thumb chords. So I'm used to that. But find what works for you. Experiment with your thumb to get more roundness out of the chord. And one thing I forgot to mention is pressing a little closer to the fret should also help you get less buzzing. If you press towards the back, you might get some buzzing. So you want to be kind of, at least in the middle. Middle's okay, but not at the back. That's where you get more buzzing. Say middle to front is where I like to aim for. Usually towards the front if you can. You see that here on my F, the finger is here at the very front of that first fret. And that gives you the best chance for a clean string. Let me interrupt real quick to say that you need to download my Ultimate Guitar Guide. It's completely free. There's a link in the description. It's going to give you more tips to work with, all typed out, pretty looking for you. My guitar buying recommendations, some chords you may not have heard yet. They're just beautiful open chords. Go get that. It's completely free. Okay, let's move on to our next tip. The third problem that I see a lot in early level players is clunky rhythm. We're finally talking about our strumming hand. Up till now it's been all fretting hand. But let's talk about the strumming. We need to do things in isolation because when you're still on the early part of your guitar journey, trying to do this while doing this, it's a lot to think about. So today we're going to isolate. We're going to start with muted strings. So to mute your strings, you just touch them to where you don't get any sound. If you press, you start to get stuff. Don't press down. Just rest you like a very soft, light blanket. Rest over the strings to where you hear nothing. Then we can focus on our strumming hand. Whether you're lefty or righty, doesn't matter. Your strumming hand, that's what we're focusing now. So let me start by showing you how I hold my pick because that does matter. I put my pick in, I make a little hook here, and then I put my pick in there, and I put my thumb over the top of it. All right, now this is what I learned a long time ago. You'll see that it's kind of making almost like a little X with my index finger. Hopefully you can see that. And I put my thumb over it. You have to adjust, even once it's in there, I adjust, see it wasn't quite right. You can feel the difference. Over time, you'll get more used to this if you're not. A lot of beginners play like this. This is how I played for the first few years of my playing. And it's okay, especially for strumming. But when you get into like a rhythm, picking and soloing, you see I already hit. It's harder to, I'm having to think way too hard about where my pick is. And it's easier to accidentally hit some bad strings. So That's why I do this. You can stick with this if you want, or this, or however you're used to. It's not huge for this video, but just showing you this is how I do it. Just a little bit of pick sticking out and sort of like an X between my finger and my pick, like that, thumb over the top. You should see a hole in here, all right? If the hand gets too tight, or if the thumb's like way up here like that, that's not right. You want there to be a gap there where you could like put a penny through or something, right? And then I keep my fingers out, but a lot of players go inside. It's fine. Sometimes I'll keep them in if I'm doing, well, sometimes I keep them in, sometimes I keep them out. It's not too important. It's whatever is comfortable for you. But let's move forward. After pick holding, let's talk about the actual strumming. Okay, we're going to mute the strings again. We're not going to want to strum too hard. A lot of players that have not been playing along, they keep their wrist tight like a stick, and they strum like this. Right? And it's just, oh, it hurts my ears. So we need to be relaxed, like a painter, okay? A very fast painter at times. You can see that my wrist is loose, like I'm dealing cards to my leg. Or I'm doing that, you know, slapping a bass. Right? But we've got to be loose because that's going to give us more nuance in our playing and not so much robotic stiffness, which is also not good for the arm to be stiff. So we want to be loose and free. A lot of the movement comes from the wrist. The forearm is bouncing a little bit. Okay, so that's important. Be loose with it. Now, muting the strings, let's just start slow and let me show you how I would approach a strum pattern that was difficult. Okay, let's use the metronome first. Okay, again, metronome is crucial. This is 80 beats per minute. 80 beats per minute, just doing down strums to start. Making sure you feel loose. When you can do that, try doing down strums but adding eighth notes to the strum, meaning double the speed but same click. Here we go. Okay, staying loose, not getting tight like this, not tensing up. Think relaxed, relaxed. Now we're going to change that second down strum to an up strum. Same sound, but going up, and we need to stay loose. Stay loose. Now from here is where it gets really tricky. We're going to double that speed. We're going to go to 16th notes. So we're going to go fast. Let's see if you can do it with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stay loose. Stay with that click. Loose, 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 loose. Just training our arm to be relaxed. And back to eighths. Okay, when you can do that, then you're ready to do some strum patterns with feel and nuance. Okay, so let's say our strum pattern was down, down, up, down, 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 da, 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 a little bit of a country kind of twangy thing. If that is too hard for you, what do? Do you just give up and hang your guitar up and say, this is not for me? No, 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 no. You put the metronome on at a slower speed. So we're going to go to 60. That's about as low as I like to go. It's hard to follow anything less than that. We're going to go down, down, da, 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 down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down. Thinking. If you get stuck, pause. Think down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. We're just taking it slow until we have it down. When we think we've got that, we go faster. Here's 70. Down, down. Let's say we want to get to 120. This is exactly how I would do it. Okay, we've got 70. Let's say we do 80, 90, 100, 100. Let's go 108. We lose it. What do? We think. Down, down, up, down, down, da, 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 da. We try again. We get it, we lose it. What do? We go slower. We go back down. Down, down, da, da, da. Maybe that's all you can get today, right? You're not gonna get to the moon in one day. If that's all you can do, that was 95. Tomorrow we're shooting for 100, right? Each day you're just trying to get a little bit better, and the metronome is the key to that. Let's talk about dinky fingerpicking on problem number 4. A lot of early level players want to fingerpick, but they only want to use 2 fingers. And then it's like they're hitting other strings and they're getting lost. Right? It's just there's no direction, there's no purpose. I use what I call the ping pong paddle grip. I'm pretty sure I made this up. I never heard it from anyone else. I put my fingers in position. I'm making this. Actually, let's mute the strings. Okay, and I pretend like I'm holding a ping pong paddle. Okay, now my preference is to use all the fingers. I feel like you've got 5, why not use them? Some people don't use the pinky, and that's okay. I understand the pinky is pretty weak. But we're going to use all 5, and we're going to play down, down, down. Okay, that's A string, D string, G string, and then we're going to pick all these at once. And then we're going to come back. Middle, index. So we've got thumb. Notice all my fingers are lined up on these strings here. Thumb, index, middle, pinky and ring together, and then back to middle, index. Put that together. Boom, boom, dun, 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 dun. I'm not dropping that ping pong paddle, right? I could still hold the paddle in here and I'd still be playing. If your hands start to splay out like a spider, like a tarantula, something's going wrong. Dum, 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 dum. Notice my thumb sticks out in front of my other fingers. I'm still holding that ping pong paddle. Dun, 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 dun. All these fingers are rested above these strings. Here, I'll do it again with you. Hopefully you can see this. They're just right above the string until it's their turn. And I'm going back and forth. And I'm training my hand to use all the fingers. Then when I feel good about that, I'll start doing it with a C. Let's try a C to an A minor chord. Back to A minor. Back to C. Let me show you that with this angle. Trying to give you a good angle here. I only have one camera. I'm just moving my thumb out of the way so you can see my fingers. Usually they would all be here. That's important. From there, notice my thumb drops depending on the chord. For the G chord, it's there. All these fingers are still here, where they were before. For the E minor, same. For the C here, my thumb drops. The thumb always takes the bass note. And then the D chord, it drops even farther, and my pinky gets shoved out of the way. So we got... Practice using all your fingers, keeping the ping pong paddle in place, making it clean. Just start simple. Boom, 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 dun, 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 dun. And when you can do that comfortably, you can start to go boom, dun, 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 boom, dun, 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 right? Using different combinations, but try to get all your fingers involved and pick cleanly before increasing your speed. The 5th problem is people just get bored. All right, they know the C chord. It's like, I don't want to play C anymore. I'm done with C. All right, what can you do? Well, you can learn C in a new spot, or you can learn D in a new spot, or G in a new spot. Okay, there's places you can leave this area down here. You can leave home base for a little bit, go play, and then return back home when you're ready. But let's just talk about a couple, because there's so many. But I'm just going to show you something, an idea that you can start to play around with. And let's talk about major chord shapes using just these 3 strings. Okay, so this is a D chord, right? Just these 3. Now this gives us the root and the bass, but it only takes 3 notes to make a triad. a regular major or minor chord. So this is, we've got A, D, and F sharp. Those 3 notes make a D chord. Even though the D is not in the bottom, it's still the 3 notes that make a D chord. Okay, this is also a D chord because it's the same notes. It's D, F sharp, and A. Same 3 notes. Here, here, both D chords. Now if we take it up to here, we also have a D chord. There's 3 common major shapes using these 3 strings. This shape, and this shape. All only happening on these highest 3 strings. So if we take that logic, now with the D it's nice because we can use the open D string each time in combination. We can play here, here, or here. Now you can modify those. Right? That's a D major 7 there. That's pretty cool. But let's not talk about that too much. Just knowing where those chords are, any major shape on those 3 strings is going to help you so much. Okay? It would be the same concept with, say, let's try an E chord. Okay, this would be one shape, just those 3 strings. You see that? Because we have a G sharp, a B, and an E. Those are the notes that make an E chord. Well, you could also do it here, right? I can do it like this, or like a D chord shape. So here, here, or here. Those are all E chords, all right? So if I'm tired of this E, well, I can go up and play like, I accidentally hit the D string. I forgot we're in E, not D anymore. So instead of picking, I can go up here and, right, it's not going to work in every scenario, and that's just a starting point. But just knowing those 3 shapes, here, right, here, and here, and being able to do it with any of them, here, here, here. Okay, that's pretty cool, isn't it? I think it is. And knowing those shapes, it works with minor too. Let's say B minor here. That's one shape. That's another shape, and that's another shape. Okay, if we know those 3 shapes, this one, and this one, for all of our chords, we can play things anywhere. And from there, there's more to learn, but that's a great starting point. Number 6, wasted practice time. All right, the main thing that you can do for yourself to get better is maximize the potential of your practice time. Okay, only playing songs with no scales or drills of any kind is not gonna benefit you in the long run. Yes, learning a new song is great for you, but you need to learn methods as well because they play into everything that you do and they increase your ability to jam and play with others. Being able to play just basic scales is very important. Being able to play those skills instead of just a song all the time is going to be really good for you. But also the reverse, just playing scales and skills and never putting it to practice into music is not a good use of time. So here's what you can do. I call this, or I've heard of this as I don't know where I heard this, but it's the 10-10-10 rule. If you've got 30 minutes to practice, give 10 minutes to drills and scales to start, to get warmed up, to increase your knowledge of the guitar. Maybe a major scale here, right? And maybe a pentatonic scale here, right? Increase your ability to play those scales because it's going to come in handy for soloing, jamming, stuff like that. 10 minutes of drills, then 10 minutes of learning a song, a new song that challenges you. Don't just play the same basic 4-chord song that you learned from day 1. And then 10 minutes improvising. Creativity is crucial to be able to experiment and explore. So put another song on, something that maybe you're not trying to learn the chords of the song, but it's a song that you like, and just try playing a scale over it, right? If the song is like a, right, E minor, maybe you don't need to practice those chords, but you can practice Maybe you're just practicing it over the top of those chords. And you're just making up stuff. You've got to have fun playing and creating, and that's going to make you a much better player. So 10 minutes drills, 10 minutes songs, and 10 minutes improvising, creating, and jamming. That's a good way to structure your 30 minutes of practice. But this is the most crucial, the final tip. Always, 95% of your practice session should be under pressure. How do you get pressure? The metronome. A friend playing, you've got to keep up with them. A song is playing, you've got to keep up with the song. You need something, the metronome is best. You need something that's telling you what speed you're going so that you can try to go a little faster or so that you can go a little bit smoother, right? But you need something to push you, something to put you under pressure, like a pressure cooker, so that your rockets can fire off and you can reach the sky each practice sessions. No pressure, you lose. Practice time is wasted. Well, that was highly productive. Today we cleaned up your chord changes, improved your rhythm, your finger picking, showed you some new chord shapes, pretty much did everything. Solved world hunger? Well, we didn't do that. But we did so much. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to download my Ultimate Guitar Guide. There's a link in the description. It's going to help you so much. You're going to love it. I will see you on the next video. Peace.